time. Like I said, she spoils us. Usually, there's always usually a goodie bag for the holidays, whatever the holiday is. She does a little treat bag. She
Good
spoils
evening.
us. We'll see.
Good evening. I want to welcome you to the 2025 Sparta Township Reorganization meeting. I want to welcome our council, Dana Chiarello, Dean Blumetti, and Neil Clark, and welcome our council-elect, Marjorie Murphy and Mark Scott. And our Township Manager, Jim Zepp. This meeting is called to order. Notice is going to be given. Adequate notice of this meeting was provided to the public and to the press on January 2nd, 2025, in compliance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975. This meeting is called to order at 6:03 p.m. I'm going to ask everyone to stand up and do a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. At this time, I would like to ask Council-elect Mark Scott to meet me here in the front to be sworn in. Just stand here in the middle. Picture. All right. Okay, so I'm going to have you stand to my left. Okay. We're going to hold that Bible, okay? If you could place your left hand on the Bible and raise your right hand. And repeat after me. I, Mark Scott,
I, Mark Scott,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear truth, faith, and allegiance to the same,
that bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the government established in the United States,
and in this state under the authority of the people,
and in this state under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly, and
I
that
will faithfully,
impartially and justly perform all the duties of the office of councilman
perform all the duties of the office of councilman
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. I need you to sign your name here and then put your address.
You can do it.
If you want to say something.
Do.
Okay.
I'll go. Address now.
Yes. It's fine. And
Okay.
I'll notarize it.
Okay.
All right, perfect. You said you wanted to say something?
I just wanted to say something. Thank you all for coming tonight, and thank you for all your support. I just wanted to thank all the residents of Sparta for showing their support for Margie Murphy and myself. 2 years ago, the citizens of Sparta overwhelmingly elected Chiarello, Blumetti, and Clark. The message was, stop paving over Sparta. Once again, in 2024, overwhelmingly, the people of Sparta have spoken. Again, the message was, stop paving over Sparta. Protect our water, protect our open space. I hope the individuals appointed to the statutory boards tonight and the current members of the planning and zoning boards will take heed to what the residents of Sparta desire. The townspeople of Sparta recognize professionals guiding us do not represent their vision. They were put in place by administrations prior to this political sea change in Sparta. A sea change that flipped this entire town council in 2 election cycles. Change is needed at the professional level. Our professionals must be people whom volunteers on the board can rely on for accurate, well-balanced information, opinion, and advice. I would cite many instances where that has not been the case over the past several years. This must stop. Our professionals need to be swiftly replaced by lawyers, planners, etc., that will fulfill their duties professionally, keeping the board and council members fully informed and reflecting the desires of the people. We have many areas in need of redevelopment in Sparta, in addition to DCA, moderate and low-income housing challenges ahead. We've got a lot to do. Let's keep Sparta green, protect our water, our fresh air, and maintain the wonderful community Sparta is today. I hope we can all pull in the same direction to accomplish the will of the great majority of Spartans. Once again, thank you for your support. We look forward to being your trusted servants. Thank you. Thank you all.
Council-elect Marjorie Murphy, would you please join me here?
Thank you, sir.
Okay, if you could place your left hand on the Bible and raise your right hand. I, Marjorie Murphy, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and I will bear truth, faith, and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state under the authority of the people,
and in this state under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
and I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
perform all the duties of the office of councilwoman
perform all the duties of the council
Of the
office of councilwoman
according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Congratulations.
Is it true that if you come to the first meeting, you have to come to all the rest?
It is.
At this time, I would like council to take nominations for mayor.
Actually, at this time, I'd like to call a point of order. I am not comfortable conducting business here without an attorney present. I've received advice that any action that we take here might not even be valid if without an attorney present while we're taking it. So I'm going to make a motion that we adjourn until such time that an attorney is present to guide us in our meeting.
I disagree, Dan.
before
We
this-
have an attorney.
We have
Sorry.
a motion.
I'll second this.
We
We
need
can have a
some-
conversation. I'm going to second it. Let's have a
We
conversation.
need some motion.
Okay? So the motion's made and accepted. Now we can debate the motion.
Yes.
So what is your,
We are conducting business without an attorney, and I'm not comfortable doing that, so I'm
well,
making
we
a
can,
motion until we...
the plan is to appoint an attorney once the people who are sworn in as both mayor and deputy mayor, which hasn't been done yet. So I think what we should do is continue with the swearing in for a mayor and deputy mayor, and then we intend to move Resolution A, which is the appointment of an attorney, up to the front of the meeting.
Yes, and I understand that, but an appointment does not give us an attorney. We don't have an attorney until we have a signed contract with someone. And the appointment process begins the process of negotiating and tendering a contract. So without a contract, we don't have an attorney. And again, the appointment process starts the process of negotiating a contract. So just the simple appointment of an attorney doesn't give us an attorney.
So what is your motion, and then we can vote on it?
Motion is that we adjourn until such time we have an attorney present to guide us.
Okay, we have a motion to adjourn until we have such time. So may I have a,
I'm sorry, the clerk is,
I can do a roll
Okay.
call vote.
Was there,
The
I have
chair.
a question. Was there a contract reviewed yet? By,
do we have a contract ready to sign? I guess, well, anyway, that contract shouldn't have been ready to sign because we haven't appointed anyone yet. But anyway, we can proceed with the vote.
We do have a contract. It's the same format that we follow. It is not signed yet. It's very similar to the prior year's contracts that we utilize. Usually, as Councilman Mayoral denoted, we do the appointment, which authorizes the mayor to then sign off on the contract, and then the professional would then sign the contract, making it valid.
So we're saying we negotiated a contract with someone who didn't have a council's approval? Do you know who from the council authorized this?
We took the proposals from all the professionals, as we've done in the past, and most of these proposals are duplicative of the prior years. However, it is different this year with the attorney being different. However, the proposals are very similar in language and in costs.
Right, so we negotiated this contract with a party that hasn't been appointed yet by the council. That's what we're saying.
Correct.
And this was done without the council's approval?
No, this was discussed prior. I was aware that this was going to happen, and we do have these gray areas where we don't have an attorney present right now until such time one is appointed.
Okay.
I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure how you avoid it.
and you'll have a full and fair opportunity to vote yes or no on the appointment of the council, so you can exercise your prerogative to do so.
I understand.
And then there is a process by which you can select an attorney or anyone in professional without going to RFP, and you simply put it up for a vote, and that's and making it transparent, and that is what we intend to do tonight.
Okay. I also would cite New Jersey Public Contracts Law, NJSA 40A-11-5, which states that the governing body wishes to award a contract without an open public bid. The resolution must state the supporting reasons for the award, and as I read the resolution A, there is no reason for the award without an open public bid. So I don't see, in my understanding, that version A, or that resolution A is not a valid resolution, but without an attorney here, I'm not at liberty to really say that my reading of the law is correct. And that's one of the reasons why I'm not comfortable proceeding without an attorney. Anyway, the motion's made and we can move on.
So we have a motion.
I'll take a roll call vote. Councilman Scott? It's your vote?
It's a motion to adjourn until
No.
such time as we
No.
have an attorney.
Councilman Blumetti?
abstain.
Councilman Chiarello?
Yes.
Councilwoman Murphy?
No.
Councilman Clark?
No. So the motion has failed. We can proceed with, my understanding, Madam Clerk, is that we now move to a nomination for mayor and deputy mayor. So the floor is open for nominations for mayor.
I nominate Neil Clark for the position of mayor.
May I have a second, please?
I second it.
All those in favor, say aye.
The clerk is.
You have a roll call vote?
Okay.
There's a motion on the floor to appoint Neil Clark as mayor. There's been a second. Councilman Scott?
Yes.
Councilman Blumetti?
Yes.
Councilman Chiarello?
I will abstain from conducting votes today because I'm not comfortable conducting business without an attorney present. So I will abstain.
Councilwoman Murphy?
Yes.
Councilman Clark?
Yes.
There's
to
three
think about
yeses. There's three yeses. Councilman Clark is now Mayor Clark. I'll let-
I took a picture with you.
Place your left hand on the Bible. Place your left hand on the Bible and raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Neil W. Clark,
I, Neil W. Clark,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
I will bear truth and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established in the United States
and the governments established in the United States
and to the state under the authority of the people,
and state under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
and I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
perform all the duties of the office of mayor
perform all the duties of the office of mayor
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Name and then your address.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out, and I really appreciate and I'm kind of humbled by this nomination and to be your mayor again. If you're wondering what this pin is, because I am wearing the council pin, but this is the pin of my Scottish clan called the McKeevers. And the Gaelic thing that it stands for is I will never forget. That's what it means. And what I will never forget is 3 years ago, looking up, and there were 4 people who were up there who are no longer here. And one of them decided not to run, 3 of them did. And the voters, in an act of boldness and courage and optimism, voted for new people. And that took a lot of optimism, a lot of boldness, a lot of courage. And I won't forget it. And I don't think anyone up here should either. Because as I said during the campaign when I ran, we are simply a vessel for the will of the people. And we cannot forget that. And it should not be lost on any of us that we are all probably just one vote away from not being up here anymore. And so my hope is that this council will work together, but that we'll also be committed to listening to the people and trying to do the best we can to effectuate their will, because that's what they entrusted us to do. And so thanks again. I welcome Councilman Scott and Councilman Murphy. I look forward to working with you. I look forward to again working with Councilman Blumetti and Councilman Chiarello. And let's have a fantastic year and do what the people want. Thank you. All right, so the next up is we need to make a nomination for deputy mayor. And I will make a motion that Margie Murphy be nominated as deputy mayor.
I'd better second.
So may we have a roll call vote for Margie Murphy as deputy mayor?
Councilman Scott,
Yes.
Councilman Blumetti,
Yes.
Councilman Chiarello,
I will abstain.
Mayor Clark.
Yes.
Congratulations. If you could please place your left hand on the Bible and raise your right hand. And repeat after me. I, Marjorie Murphy, do
Marjorie Murphy,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state under the authority of the people,
and in this state under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
and I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
perform all the duties of the office of Deputy Mayor
perform all the duties of the office of Deputy Mayor
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. Just put your name here and I'll put everything back.
I just wanted to thank our township of Sparta, my family, and the longevity that my family has been here, and the love in my heart that I have for this town, that Mark Scott and I will do, and the rest of the council will do the best that we can to keep this beautiful town as it was meant to be. The reason our families moved here in the 40s, my nephew's born here, my stepchildren born here, and all of our children to come. And we will do the best in our hearts and in our willpower to keep it that way. With all of your support, I thank you very, very much.
All right, tonight we do have a bunch of appointments to make, and I thank everyone for braving this very cold night. And hopefully you will be warmed by the public service that a lot of the people who we appoint tonight are doing. Most of these positions, almost all of them, are volunteer and unpaid. And it means these folks are taking time out of their lives, away from their families, to serve their community and for the common good. And so I hope, just thinking of that, you'll be able to brace yourself when the doors open up and you have to now go outside later on tonight. Just as a point of order, I think we're going to have some changes to the agenda, and so I think the best way to handle that is a motion to amend the agenda for the following items. We will move Resolution A to the beginning of the meeting before we do the appointments, which is the appointment of an attorney. Next, we will delete the appointment of the film committee, as we do not yet have an authorizing ordinance. We will do that at our next meeting. And the third change to the agenda is for the state plan endorsement. As of now, the constituency for that is undetermined. Understand there's no active business at the moment, and so the best thing is to just not deal with that tonight. So again, we're moving Resolution A first. We will not be considering the film committee appointments nor the state plan endorsement appointment. So the motion is to amend the agenda for those items. So I'll make a motion that we amend the agenda as previously described. I just need a second.
I will second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I will abstain.
Okay, we have 4 ayes and 1 abstention. Okay, as promised, we were going to move Resolution A to the beginning. May I have a motion to appoint Township Attorney? And it is the Kennedy's Law Firm and Anand Dash. So the motion is for Resolution A, the approval of Kennedy's and Anand Dash as Township Attorney.
I second that.
We need a first and you have a motion, so.
I'd like to make a motion to nominate Kennedy's Law Firm and Anand Dash to be the town council attorney.
And I will second that motion. All those in favor say
I have
aye.
two points to discuss for that
Okay.
before we move on to vote. Point number one is something I mentioned before, that according to New Jersey contracts law, that if you award a contract without an open public bid, the resolution must state the supporting reasons for the award. I don't see them listed in the resolution, so if we want to amend the resolution to add the reason, I think now's the time to do so.
We can add the supporting reasons are Mr. Dash comes from one of the largest and most successful law firms, not only in the state of New Jersey, but also the United States. Mr. Dash has a degree as a municipal lawyer. He has also represented the Lake Mohawk for the past 2 years, and so he is eminently qualified for this position.
So just to be clear, you're making a motion to add that language that you just mentioned
Yes,
into
those are the
into written
supporting
record.
reasons. If you want to shorten it to, given the competence and skill of both the Kennedy's Law Firm and Mr. Dash, those would be the shorthand versions of the reasons.
So you need to make a motion to amend the resolution with those comments in mind, right?
So a motion to amend the resolution to add the supporting reasons as I articulated on the record for Mr. Dash and the Kennedy's Law Firm to be the township attorney. So that I'll make the motion. I just need a second.
I second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Right, and I'm
We-
abstaining.
So we have 4 ayes and 1 abstention for the for the amendment.
And the second point I want to make is that it states in resolution point number 3 that prior to becoming a vendor for the township, all vendors are required to disclose possible conflicts so that the municipality may assess and prevent potential conflicts. Were these conflicts disclosed and submitted to us prior to us submitting the contract, or prior to us reviewing the contract?
Yes, they were.
All right, thank you.
Okay, now that the motion has been amended, I'll make a motion for the approval of Resolution A, Kennedy's Law Firm and Anand Dash as township attorney. So
I
need a-
second that.
As amended?
As amended.
As amended.
We have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm
No.
abstaining.
And a no.
Okay, so we have 3,
Okay, I'm just going to take a roll.
Maybe a roll call vote is
yeah,
better.
we'll do a roll call.
Councilman Scott,
Yes.
Councilman Blumetti,
No.
Councilman Chiarello,
I'm abstaining.
Deputy Mayor Murphy,
Yes.
Mayor Clark.
Yes, the motion has approved. At this time, I would recommend that Anand Dash come to the front and Welcome.
Okay, now, with that resolution, that's usually out of order, but we're now going to move to the council appointments. And the first council appointment we have is with our Cultural Affairs Subcommittee. And so I move that the following individuals be members of the Cultural Affairs Subcommittee: Glenn Allen, Neil Sauerwine, Chris Tuthill, Steve Hespelt, Tiffany Cody, Stuart Liebman, Linda Coombs, Bill Wright, Angela Kaminska Ridzik, and the council representative be Daniel Chiarello. So that's the motion. May I have a second, please?
I'll second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I will abstain.
The Cultural Affairs Subcommittee has been filled. Next up, we have the Environmental Commission. I will make a motion to appoint Barbara Kosalka to the Environmental Commission, and that the council liaison be Margie Murphy.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 I will
Aye.
abstain.
We have 4 ayes and 1 abstention. Okay, next up, we have the Library Board. There is a reappointment. I move that we appoint Doreen Skock to the Library Board. I need a second.
I second that.
All those in favor say aye.
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 I will abstain.
We have 4 ayes and 1 abstention. And the mayor is automatically the ex officio member of the Library Board. Next up, we have the Municipal Alliance. And actually, this reminds me, before I get there, Chief McCarrick would normally be here tonight, but he has a colleague, someone that he came to the academy with, who is getting nominated or installed as the chief of police. And so as an act of brotherhood and fellowship, he is there. But I see that we have, our officers here tonight. And so, Mr. Chief McCarrick sends his regards, and that we'll see him next Tuesday. So that remind me with the Municipal Alliance. So I move that we reappoint the following individuals: Jeffrey McCarrick, Steve Guido, Dr. Jane Esposito, Jennifer Derricks, Doug Lehman, and Don Crumpfer, and the council liaison, Mark Scott. So I need a second.
I second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I will abstain.
We have 4 ayes and 1 abstention. Okay.
Mayor, there's usually also, there's 2 vacancies.
Yeah, at this time, we don't have anyone to fill those vacancies, so.
For the
we'll-
chair, for the co-chair, the council representatives, chair and then a co-chair, usually there's 2 of them.
Oh, for the,
Yeah,
but
for-
of the current members. Do the current members need to be,
No, it's usually council, someone in council. Like there's 2 council members, so if one can't be there.
yeah, we just, okay.
Park
Right
is
now,
gonna
we
be
just have
one.
one. We
Okay,
can-
you said
Yeah, we will
one?
decide
Okay.
at a later date
Okay.
about the second council member.
That's fine.
Okay, next up, we have Planning Board, and we will do this by each specific class as opposed to all together. And so my understanding is the mayor's designee is not one, it's one I simply designate, it's not subject to a motion. And so I will be designating Robert Bleakley as the mayor's designee for the Planning Board. Next up, we have Class 3. So I will make a motion that we appoint Mark Scott as the Class 3 representative on Planning Board. May I have a second, please?
I second that.
Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote?
Councilman Scott,
Yes.
Councilman Blumetti,
No.
Councilman Chiarello,
I will abstain.
Deputy Mayor Murphy,
Yes.
Mayor Clark.
Yes. Councilman Scott is now the Class 3 member of the Planning Board. Next, we have the Class 4. I make a motion that Joan Furman be nominated as the Class 4 representative on Planning Board. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call
We have
vote?
a discussion, please, on this? Need discussion.
Okay.
So people need to realize that there is a proposal to move the Environmental Commission role, which historically has always been a Class 2. And the proposal this evening, you'll hear in a few minutes, is going to be to make Ms. Dunbar, our Environmental Commission member, who's required to be on the Planning Board, a Class 4 member, alternate. And there's a difference between Class 4 and a Class 4 alternate. The alternate does not vote unless someone is not there. So there is a difference in terms also between the terms of service. That's a discrepancy. The Environmental Commission person serves for 3 years, and alternates serve for 2. The the intention and the way this is written, the Environmental Commission representative is included in the traditional Class 4 description, all the details, all the write-up and responsibilities. In the later alternate section, it does not talk about that. We, all of us up here, have fought for 4 or 5 years or more to make the Environmental Commission have an impact, a voice, and have it be stronger, have it be larger. I see some members in the audience. If another council prior to us ever tried to do this, you would scream bloody murder, that we're moving the Environmental Commission down to an alternate without a vote. We talked about keeping this a beautiful town. Mark, you talked about protecting open space, stop paving over Sparta, protect water. All of us ran on those values, and now we're saying we're going to put an Environmental Commission member on the Planning Board without a regular vote. We've worked hard to give the Environmental Commission a voice. We stand for open space, we stand for responsible development, we stand for taking care of our resources and our quality of life. So to put an Environmental Commission person on as an alternate is not the right move. I don't think we stand for that, and that's upsetting. And I've served for 2 years. It's probably one of the most ridiculous things I've heard in 2 years. That says a lot. So I think it's appalling if we go ahead with that. I propose we move it around, leave the Environmental Commission chair as a regular Class 4. Alter, we could do this easily with the same people getting in. We can alter and put Ms. Furman as mayor's designee. We could put Mr. Bleakley as an alternate. We still have the same composition, but we don't degrade and diminish the Environmental Commission role. So I would like that to be discussed.
I would like to add to that point that I don't know if any planning board actions without a voting member of the planning board who is an environmental commission member would even be valid.
I don't think, Mark and Margie, you want on your first night to be known as that one of your first votes is putting an Environmental Commission person without a vote on our planning board, which is critical to what we do.
I think just to be clear, I think the issue arose because Ms. Dunbar, who was our Class 2 on the Environmental Commission, she was not as a Class 2. Unfortunately, that was in violation of our ordinance 18.3.2, because in order to be a Class 2 representative, there's other requirements that must be met, and we didn't meet them. And so we couldn't have her an Environmental Commission as Class 2. So that then we had to find a place for Ms. Dunbar. Again, we are not saying that no one on the Environmental Commission can be on the Planning Board. They're still on the Planning Board. as an alternate member, and they're still on there and they still have a voice. And there's nothing in the municipal land use law that requires that they be a non-alternate member. And so due to the configuration, we have put, we will be putting Ms. Dunbar as alternate 2, but we're not there yet. And so if you'd like to make a motion to, for your proposal, we can certainly entertain that, Councilman Blumati.
Sure. I propose, and a Class 4, a regular Class 4 member has full voting rights, and Ms. Dunbar can fit there. We have an opening. There's no valid reason why she shouldn't be there as the Environmental Commission person. My proposal is to put Ms. Furman, who's done a good job over the last year, as a mayor's designee. Put Ms. Dunbar as in the open Class 4 regular position, and in the alternate, put the new member who wishes to join the planning board. It's a good way. Most new members join as alternates and they get experience.
So I don't recall, did we have a motion and which was seconded to put, to nominate Joan Furman?
Well,
as
we're
the
going to
Class
take,
4?
what we'll do is we'll take Councilman Blumati's motion first, which
Okay,
is,
was that motion seconded, though?
I don't know, I haven't,
It wasn't.
it wasn't seconded.
Okay, so does the person that made the motion retract it? Whoever made the motion to appoint Joan
Class
Furman
4.
as the Class 4 person should retract it before we vote on another
Okay,
motion.
I will retract it as a matter of order and simply allow Councilman Blumati to have his motion first, at which point after that, determine whether it succeeds or fails, go forward with the motion that I started with. So,
Motion's made.
Motion's made.
I will second it just to bring it to the vote.
okay, we have a motion to have as Class 4 Christine Dunbar.
Councilman Scott,
No.
Councilman Blumetti,
Yes.
Councilman Chiarello,
I will abstain.
Deputy Mayor Murphy,
Yes.
Mayor Clark,
No. We have one yes, we have 2 yeses, 2 nos, and 1 abstention.
yes.
Okay, so that if there's not a majority for that motion.
Excuse me.
Pardon.
We are saying that, let me just to be clear. We're saying that we're going to, that Joan Furman is not going to be put into Class 4?
Yeah, the motion is to put in lieu of Joan Furman, to put in Christine Dunbar into the Class 4 position. That's the motion.
And it was just defeated.
And Joan would be the mayor's designee in the Class 1.
In the Class 1?
Yeah.
And the term length on the Class 1?
It's annual.
It's 1 year.
Okay.
But I
But
mean,
we
there
had-
are openings coming up next year as well to move her into a 4 if that's the intention of the majority of the council.
Well, I think the vote was 2 yeses, 2 nos, and abstention, so that the motion fails.
Okay, can I change my vote?
No.
It's not necessary, the motion fails.
Okay.
Okay, then we need a point of legal confirmation here, though, because there is a discrepancy that talks about the Environmental Commission chair role
Yeah.
being for 3 years. The alternate role is for 2 years. How do we reconcile that? There's an inconsistency. The spirit of how this was written is, and if you read it and even see how it's laid out, the spirit of it is that the Environmental Commission person is a key role in the planning board, and it's listed with the regular Class 4 members. Down below is when they talk about alternates that the planning board may choose to have. So how do you reconcile that?
Okay, so the law division in 1996, in a decision known as Petrick versus the City of Jersey City Planning Board, indicated that, firstly, this construction of the provision that allows for environmental commission member to sit on the planning board, which is NJSA 40:50A-1, does not obligate the municipal land use law to require an environmental commission member to sit on the planning board. In that case, in fact, the planning board took a vote without the presence or membership of a environmental commission member. There was an objection as to whether or not that vote should stand, and the court ruled that it may stand without the planning board member because Section 23A of the municipal land use law does not require a environmental commission member to sit on the planning board, although it's permissive. As this council is currently considering it, it is satisfying both the environmental commission section statute as well as the municipal land use law by putting a class 4 alternate member as the environmental commission. This would be no different, respectfully, Councilman, as to how the council previously conducted with respect to the class 2 as a environmental commission member. And so as far as the terms are considered, the terms are going to flow from the ultimate appointment, which is the first decision, and the second decision, the terms would follow from that. And of course, the council may revisit those terms and designations as they come up for vote again.
Mr. Dash, can you clarify? I believe you misspoke. You said it's not a requirement for the planning board to have an environmental commission member. That is untrue. Even our ordinance states it, if you want to read it.
So the court,
The SA is 40-56-1, and it's in our ordinance. Maybe that adds more layers on to what the state minimum requires?
so the court in Petrick versus Jersey City Planning Board indicated that Section 23 of the municipal land use law does not require that a member of the environmental commission serve as a member of the planning board. It is permissive. It interpreted it to be permissive in a larger framework outside of the plain language of the statute.
Doesn't our ordinance state that it shall, it
It
must
do-
be there?
It
Doesn't our
does.
ordinance
It does,
take
but the
control
court,
with this?
no,
I'm not talking about litigating in court. I'm saying
No.
our ordinance wasn't written so that the environmental commission member must be on the planning.
no, actually, it does not. Under New Jersey stare decisis, which is the mechanism for how courts decide preemption, a common law decision on this issue, the very issue you are raising, was raised in this case. And the law division in that case ruled in that case that notwithstanding the language of the statute, it is viewing it as permissive. That was the language I quoted from the case, that 40:55D-23 does not require that a member of the Environmental Commission serve as a member of the Planning Board.
So you're positing that our ordinance 18-3.2 under the planning board composition is not in compliance with the state regulations? And if that's the case, do we evaluate this nomination under our own ordinances or under the state's ordinances?
There will always be instances in which a statute may not be the most articulately drawn, as you will find, for example, with the Class 1 designation. The state statute provides that the Class 1 designee shall be the mayor or the mayor's designee.
That wasn't the question.
What was the question?
Our own ordinances, paragraph 18-332, -3.2, state that the environmental commission member must be in the planning board as a class 2 or a class 4. You're suggesting that the state regulations state that that's not necessary. Which one trumps? You're saying that we should be governed by our own ordinances or the state's ordinances?
We should be governed by how the court has interpreted the ultimate requirements of both statutes. The court has decided in this instance, the municipal land use law, per its language, until this is a good case today, that case stands for the proposition that the environmental commission member is not a requirement. But however, as the mayor indicated, the council is making every attempt to comply with both the state statute and the municipal land use law.
So our own ordinance is incorrect.
As I indicated, there may be instances where it's not the most artfully drawn.
Well, so when this was designed by our residents who were volunteering to be on a council like we are tonight, you're saying they made a mistake and that we've been following this for this long and it doesn't count? This is a spirit of what Sparta wanted on them, right? I mean,
Sure.
Well, just so we are clear, Ms. Dunbar is being proposed to be on the planning board, but as an alternate member. And Attorney Dash, is there any prohibition in the municipal land use law against a member of the Environmental Commission being on the planning board as an alternate?
There's not.
Okay. And would we comply with the statute if we put Ms. Dunbar as an alternate in Class 4? Would we have effectively a member of the Environmental Commission on the Planning Board?
Yes, I think consistent with the case that is on point, you would be in compliance.
So we're going to go for the minimum necessary. That's good for Sparta. I mean, we're sustainable bronze. We're going for it again. This is what we're striving towards, I thought. So if we're going for the minimum necessary, we're going to interpret this just how we want to make whatever other ends means just, justify the end, I guess. I'm not sure. There's other ideas here of why we're doing this. I don't see why we would prioritize the needs of a new member or an alternate over an environmental commission.
We are focusing on complying with this, both our statute, the state statute and the ordinance, and we are doing so by having a member of the Environmental Commission on Planning Board. So no mistake about that.
Let me ask a question. If we kept the environmental commission member as a regular Class 4, are we violating any statutes or ordinances?
We're not, but it's time to move on. Your motion has failed. We will now return to the motion.
Okay, just so you know, you have to live with this. This is a big decision. It doesn't look good for Sparta. Thank you.
Okay, the motion is to appoint Joan Furman as the Class 4 member of the Planning Board. May I have a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote?
Councilman Scott,
Yes.
Councilman Blumetti,
No.
Councilman Chiarello,
I will abstain from conducting business today.
Deputy Mayor Murphy,
Yes.
Mayor Clark.
Yes. Joan Furman is the Class 4 representative on the Planning Board. We next have a vacancy into alternate 1, and I will make a motion that we move our alternate 2 member, Brian Zimmerman, into the alternate 1 position. So that's the motion, is to move Brian Zimmerman from alternate 2 to alternate 1.
Second.
So, discussion. Let me be clear. So not only are we putting the environmental commission person as an alternate now that probably won't get to vote, we're going to put them second in line. So we need 2 planning board members absent during an application or for a development before that person can vote, which rarely happens if you want to look at the attendance records. We have really dedicated volunteers. So I think our alternates right now are wonderful. Nothing against them personally. But so is that the proposal, to put them even, so 11 members, put the Environmental Commission 11th?
Mr. Zimmerman has indicated he'd like to be moved to alternate 1. If you'd like to make a motion to have,
Actually, I'd like to call a point of order here. I believe the designations of alternates 1 and 2 are mayor designation only and not voted by the council.
That's correct.
okay.
So there is no vote. The mayor simply does it by fiat.
Okay. So the alternate would be Brian Zimmerman.
Alternate 1 or 2, you have to.
Alternate 1 would be Brian Zimmerman, and alternate 2 would be Christine Dunbar.
And I believe we still have a vacancy for Class 2.
Yes, we do. We do have a vacancy for Class 2, and at this time, we will that will remain unfilled because there's certain requirements before you can comply with Class 2, and so I think we will leave that vacancy up until we get applications and to ensure that we can comply with the state statute and our own ordinance, which we heretofore had not done. So I think we are done with the planning board. Is that right, Councilman? I mean, Attorney Dash?
Correct.
Okay. Next up, we have the Recreation Committee. We have 1 reappointment. Or we have more than 1 reappointment. I will move to reappoint the following individuals: Ann Luppick, Leanne Pitzer, Arlene Kane, and Christina Boyle, and the council representative will be Neil Clark. So that's the motion. May I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I will
We-
abstain.
We have 4 ayes and 1 abstention for the Recreation Committee. Next up is the Senior Advisory Committee. I make a motion that we reappoint the following individuals: Marianne Dilworth, Brian Grace, Arlene Kane, Christina Weiss, and the council representative will be Margie Murphy. May I have a second, please?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I will abstain.
We have 4 ayes and 1 abstention. Next, we have the Zoning Board. And I believe there's a total of 3 vacancies there. They are, one, because to fill the unexpired term of Mark Scott. Next is, I believe, they're not designated, but Mr. Finkelty is up, his term has expired. And we also have, we will likely have a vacancy in alternate 1. So I'd like to make a motion to fill the unexpired term of Mark Scott. I'd like to nominate Landon Tanieri, who is a current member of our zoning board, and he's also on our trail committee and he's been a very outstanding member of our zoning board. So the motion is for Landon Tanieri to fill the unexpired term of Mark Scott. May I have a second, please?
I second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I will abstain.
We have 4 ayes and 1 abstention. Next, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Jennifer Panaha, who would take the expired term of Mr. Finkelty. She is currently an alternate member of our zoning board, if I'm correct. So the motion is for Jennifer Panaha to be on the zoning board to take the vacant term of, the expired term of John Finkelty. May I have a second, please?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I will abstain.
4 ayes and 1 abstention. Next, because we are moving Ms. Panaha from an alternate position to now a full-fledged member of the zoning board, that creates an alternate position. We did get some interest in this, and I will make a motion to nominate Mike Steinberg. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, and just so you know, Mr. Steinberg came to me with, and I looked into his background. He is a demand manager for a large corporation, has a lot of experience with logistics and warehousing and other issues that may become relevant to the zoning board in the months and years to come. So I thought he was a very good member. I've spoken with him. I gave his number to some of my fellow council members to reach out to them, and I don't know if they did or not. That I just wanted to let people know who Mr. Steinberg is, and I think you will find him to be a very smart and valuable member of the zoning board. So we have a first and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
I will abstain.
We have 4 ayes and 1 abstention. So Mr. Steinberg is now in the alternate position, alternate 1 position, I believe, of the zoning board.
Mayor, that means that there's still going to be an alternate 2 vacancy, correct?
Yes, there's still a vacancy, and we'll have to see if that can get filled. And I see that we have our zoning board chairman here, who's been very helpful and done a great service to this community. And I'm sure he can help us beat the bushes and find someone. So, next up, we have the Business Development Committee, and I will make a motion to appoint the following individuals: Patrick McKernan, Greg Rosenfeld, Brad Carlson, William Curcio, Dean Reinauer, Nicole Francoeur, and James Malero. And the council liaisons will be Mark Scott and Dean Blumetti. May I have a second, please?
I'd like to make a motion to amend that and appoint also Justin Canellis as a member of the Business Development Committee.
Okay. So the motion is to amend to add Justin Canellis to the Business Development Committee, in addition to the names that I listed. So that's the motion before council.
Can I add another
I will,
amendment? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
We need-
Can I add another amendment?
Well, first,
We
we need
need
to
to-
vote
yeah,
on.
let's take that
the-
amendment. Yeah, so
Seconded,
I will
okay.
second the motion to add Justin Canellis. All those in favor say aye. Aye. So,
abstaining.
Mr. Motion is as amended. And yes, would you like to make a motion to add another individual?
Yes, I'd like to nominate Ryan Caruso to be on the Business Development Committee.
I will second that motion.
Councilman Scott, did Mr. Caruso send an application to the township stating that he was interested in being on this committee? I don't recall receiving one. He will need to do that.
Okay,
Yeah,
so.
he'll do that.
Yeah, so we will, that motion, I will not get a second. And Mr. Caruso, if you wish to be a member of the Business Development Committee, I encourage you to submit your application, and we can bring that up at another time. So I will read the names again so that it's clear, and we'll include Mr. Cannell. So the motion is to appoint the following individuals to the Business Development Committee: Patrick McKernan, Gregory Rosenfeld, Brad Carlson, William Curcio, Dean Reinauer, Nicole Francoeur, James Malero, and Justin Canellis. May I have a second, please?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye,
Aye.
Aye.
I will abstain.
and one abstention. So we have 4 ayes and 1 abstention for the members of the Business Development. And was it clear, Madam Clerk, that our council representatives are Mark Scott and Dean Blumetti? Because
Yes, I
okay.
do have that down.
Okay, good. Next up, we have various government liaisons. I will make a motion that the following council members will be the government liaison with the County of Sussex, Mark Scott and Dean Blumetti. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor say aye.
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 I'm abstaining.
So we have 4 ayes and 1 abstention. Mark Scott and Dean Blumetti will be our government liaisons with the County of Sussex. I will make a motion to appoint myself as the liaison with the Board of Education. May I have a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor say aye.
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 I'm abstaining.
And so 4 ayes and 1 abstention. I do know we sometimes have 2, and we'll at probably a later date figure out who, if anyone wants to be the second one. Next is a government liaison for Lake Mohawk Country Club. I make a motion to appoint myself, Neil Clark, and Margie Murphy as the liaisons to Lake Mohawk Country Club. May I have a second, please?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm abstaining.
4 ayes and 1 abstention. Neil Clark and Margie Murphy are the liaisons to the Lake Mohawk Country Club. Next, we have our Revolutionary 250 Committee. I make a motion to appoint the following individuals: Elise Cisco, Peter Litchfield, Marianne Francisco, Ben Thies, Lynn Leitner, Andrew Buchanan, and Stuart Sorts, and the council representative are Neil Clark and Margie Murphy. May I have a second, please?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 I'll abstain.
Okay, 4 ayes and 1 abstention. Next, we have our newly formed Trails Committee. I move that we appoint Ann Luppick, Brad Carlson, Landon Tenieri, Connor Sokol, and Neil Clark as the council representative to our Trails Committee. May I have a second, please?
I'll second.
And just so folks know, we do have some additional people who have attended the meetings who do have an interest, but they have yet to submit their volunteer application. So that committee will be growing, and we'll probably add some people in the weeks to come. And so we have a first and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 I'll abstain.
The Trails Committee has been filled. Next up, we have the Sister Cities Committee. I move that we reappoint Andrew Buchanan, Jeff McCarrick, Stella Tricouris, David Costa, and Zenon Christodoulou, and Council Representative Daniel Chiarello for our Sister Cities Committee.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'll abstain.
4 ayes and 1 abstention for the Sister Cities Committee. Next, I will make the appointment by, do we need to vote on the town manager, on the fire marshal since they've been appointed?
No, it's appointed by the town manager.
Okay. What about the appointment of our emergency manager? Do we have to vote on that?
We vote on that.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that we appoint Jeffrey McCarrick as our Emergency Management Coordinator and Thomas McIntyre Jr. as our Deputy Emergency Management Coordinator. May I have a second, please?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay.
I will abstain.
And the
Correct. Ayes
town
and one
manager
ab-
just mentions that he's appointing, the town manager appoints the two.
Yeah, thank you, Roxanne. So as part of my authority, I'm going to appoint Tom McIntyre Jr. as our fire marshal, and I'd like to appoint Samir Saba as our assistant fire marshal. Thank you.
So next, we have the appointment of the Sparta Health Department liaison. We have 2 vacancies for the liaison. I will make a motion to appoint Margie Murphy as the Health Department liaison.
I'll second.
Second, all those in favor say aye.
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 I'll abstain.
And we have 4 ayes and 1 abstention. If we find a need that we need another council liaison, I know there's 2 vacancies, we can fill that at another time. And we've already taken care of the fire marshals, is that right? Okay,
Yes.
great. All right, next, I have a motion to designate for advertising, media print, the New Jersey Herald, Daily and Sunday Edition, the Sparta Independent, and the Star Ledger. May I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 I'll abstain.
4 ayes and 1 abstention. Next, I make a motion to designate as our advertising media for electronic, the New Jersey Herald, the Sparta Independent, and Tap Into Sparta. May I have a second, please?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 I'll abstain. And did you not, I don't think you mentioned the patch.
Yeah, the patch does not have a presence in Sparta, so we there's no need to include them.
Okay.
So. Next is to designate the council meetings. I make a motion that we designate the council meetings the 2nd and 4th Tuesday of each month at 7 p.m. at the municipal building. May I have a second, please?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
One question, discussion point. Do we need to exclude any dates? Traditionally, if this falls around a holiday or in advance, we sometimes designate, if we know in advance.
Usually, they're listed in the agenda, the meetings of the agenda, and anything that has to be canceled has to be done by notice to newspapers.
Okay.
Okay, so we have a first and a second. All those in favor of having the council meetings on the 2nd and 4th Tuesday of each month at 7 p.m. in our municipal building, say aye.
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 Abstain.
4 ayes and 1 abstention. Next is a designation of our legal depositories. I move that we have Provident Bank and the State of New Jersey Cash Management as our legal depositories. May I have a second, please?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'll abstain.
with 4 ayes and 1 abstention for the designation of legal depositories. Next, we are now at the public session, and this is limited to the resolutions. And so if you could take a look at the resolutions and confine your comments to the resolutions. And again, just state your name and address for the record.
Robert Otto, OTTO, 41 North Shore Trail. I just have a question. Mr. Blumetti, Councilperson Blumetti brought up something and it concerned me too. So environmental, as I understand it, is advisory only, right? So what we've decided now is that the one person who is primed for having kind of a voice, and we understand that all volunteers, or all these committees are volunteer committees. Planning board gets to actually make decisions. Environmental just makes recommendations, so it doesn't really have any teeth, right? So what we've decided tonight is to take away the one voice, barring 2 people not showing up to a planning board meeting, which is Christine Dunbar, knocking her down so that we effectively don't have a voice that could actually have a vote. Am I understanding that correctly?
Well, Mr. Otto, I will, out of a respect for both our friendship and, again, that's not related to a resolution.
Okay.
But I
I
will
was
answer.
unclear.
I think we've entertained it. I think that there is a voice
Okay.
still on the, maybe not in a capacity that would support, that other people support, but make no mistake about it, there is a member of the Environmental Commission on the planning board that complies with the enabling statutes for both. So I think we've been through that.
You've been through it, and I know you've given me leeway, and since I will be gone in seconds, but I just want to urge you, because I think it was made, and I think you know this, but the whole composition of this board, of the council changed because of the people having concerns about lay people, the planning board, zoning board, maybe not able to do their due diligence because they're not professionals, maybe relying on professionals that weren't acting in the best interests of the town. So I just would feel better if you could take another look at that. Can you elevate some positions? Can you restore that voice? Or could you just look at some creative way to ensure that we have more checks and balances than we did in the last couple elections? Because that's what, okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to be heard on the resolutions? Okay, seeing no one, we will move to the resolutions. As we normally do when we have this many resolutions, we try to include some that don't think require much discussion, and I will attempt to do that, and I will go slowly. So the motion would be to approve the following resolutions: D, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M.
I'd like to carve out M, please.
Okay. So L, N as in Nancy, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z, AA, BB, CC, DD, EE, FF, GG, II. Madam Clerk, were you able to get all those? Okay. So the motion is to approve the resolutions as read. May I have a second, please?
I'll second that.
All those in favor say aye.
I'm abstaining.
We still,
Still absorbing.
Okay,
long
I'll
list.
take some
Give us a
time.
second, yeah.
Yeah, if you want to take some time, I'm happy to read them again if that would be helpful.
Anand, can you tell me what we're approving here? Professional service resolution. These are contracts, correct?
These are correct. These are contracts pursuant to the non-fair and open process under the statute.
Can I, at this point, cut out a line item? Or ask that it be removed?
You can make a motion to
Carve it out.
carve it out. Which resolution, and please give the alphabetical designation for it.
That would be P as in Paul, professional service resolution, township planner.
That was not included. Yeah, that's already carved out.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So what I did is I just listed the ones that would be included together. And P was not one of them.
Mr. Mayor, I would submit for your consideration if you could carve out AA.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
So we had, what I will end up doing is probably retracting so it's clear for the clerk. So we want AA added to the carve-out, and we also want, which one, you wanted M as in Mary, is that right, Councilman Chiarello?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so I will read these again. So I retract the prior motion and make a motion that we include the following resolutions together. D, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, N as in Nancy, Q, R, S, T, U, V as in Victor, W, X, Y, Z, B, B, C, C, D, D, E, E, F, F, G, G. May I have a second, please?
I will second.
All those in favor say aye.
Mayor, I think you had I as well.
And oh, aye, aye.
Aye.
Yeah. So all those in favor say aye.
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 I have abstained.
Still waiting for you, Mr. Scott.
Yes,
Aye.
aye.
We have
Aye.
4 ayes and 1 abstention for the resolutions as read. So next, we will now consider these resolutions separately. I will make a motion to approve Resolution B as in boy. May I have a second?
Second,
All those in favor say aye.
I have a quick question or comment.
Okay, sure.
According to New Jersey Public Contracts Law, NJSA 40A:11-5 states the governing body wishes to award a contract without an open public bid. The resolution must state the supporting reasons for the award. So I believe we need to make an amendment, a motion to amend the resolution to state the reason, and it shouldn't just be accolades about the recipient. It should be a reason why we're awarding it without a open public bid.
Sure, the reason supporting the appointment of the Murphy and Orlando is both the need to have a conflict attorney whenever you have a township attorney. We've had conflict attorneys before. We are simply having a different one this time. The Murphy Orlando firm has our municipal attorneys throughout this state. I know that Mr. Jason Orlando is a accomplished litigator in New Jersey. He's a graduate of Harvard Law School. So he would also be probably our special litigation counsel. So those are the reasons supporting it. They meet the competence and requirements, and they also have submitted that there is no conflict, including they've submitted paperwork that they're in compliance with the state of New Jersey's pay-to-play regulations. So those are the reasons supporting.
So you're making a motion to add that language to the resolution?
Yes, that's the motion. So may I have a second, please?
I'll second that.
Can I ask what is the rationale for hiring and having on call a new conflict attorney? We've never had one before. We haven't had one since I've been here, at least.
We have had a conflict attorney. Yeah,
We have.
yeah, we have.
They're not used regularly, as you said, it's very rare, but whenever council does have a conflict, we have a backup.
Yeah, and so it was just to simply make clear that if a conflict does arise, it would be the Murphy Orlando firm that would be handling it, as opposed to whoever we had before.
Who was the prior?
I believe it was Ed
Ed
Buzak.
Buzak, yes.
And is there a retainer involved with this, or is it just a as-billed, as needed?
That's billed, and I think the rate is consistent with the prior conflict counsel. Is that right, Mr. Zepp?
Yes.
Yeah. Any other discussion?
So you have to vote on your amendment still.
But I think people wanted a discussion, so if discussion is over, then we can go to a vote. Okay, discussion over. All those in favor of approving Resolution
Right,
D?
we have to vote on the amendment to the resolution.
That
then
motion
you-
to amend as read. May I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm
Okay.
abstaining.
Resolution B has been amended. Now may I have a motion to approve Resolution B as amended? May I have a second?
Second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Resolution B
I'll
as,
abstain.
Resolution B as amended has been approved with 4 ayes and 1 abstention. Next is a motion to approve Resolution C, which is the Affordable Housing Attorney to appoint Steve Warner of the Law Office of Savo Schauk as the Affordable Housing Attorney for the period of January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2025. May I have a second, please?
Second.
So I'd like to ask a question on this one.
Sure.
Do you have a comment?
Well, you have 2 comments. Same condition applies under NJSA 40A 11-5. If we're awarding the contract without an open public bid, the resolution has to state the reason. And the reason doesn't need to be that we need that service that's already taken under consideration of the first whereas clause. And again, I don't believe it should be a statement of the accolades of the recipient. It should be a reason why we're awarding it without an open public bid. And my next comment is similar to what I did asked under Resolution A, is that it states under the third part of the resolution that the vendors are required to submit a disclose possible conflicts in advance of signing a contract with that person. So I'm wondering if that had taken place. So I think the resolution needs to be amended with some language to state why it's being awarded without an open public bid, and also to affirm that we have received a statement of the possible conflicts from that firm and attorney.
Okay, anything else? Any other
That's all I
comments?
had for my comments.
No, mine are, we have, or at least up until today or December 31st, we had an extremely competent, experienced affordable housing attorney who worked on our last few rounds of affordable housing and has been, waist deep or shoulder deep up through at least today or December 31st. So my concern and my question is why the sudden switch with a January 31st affordable housing crucial deadline? Because the 28th of January, this council needs to approve a resolution with the new plan, the new numbers that we're submitting. So my concern and question is, what's the reason why we're doing this now with only a few weeks left? And how is that transition going to work?
So I think Councilman Bometti is saying the same thing I am. We want to amend the resolution to state the exact reason why we're making this change without an open public bid, according to NJ contracts laws.
Okay, I will make a motion to amend Resolution B. Of the reasons supporting the resolution are that our prior township attorney who was handling the affordable housing is no longer the township attorney. And so that created the need to fulfill it with another attorney. The Warner firm, Steve Warner, some folks have familiarity with him, has handled affordable housing issues for over a decade. He's one of the preeminent land use lawyers in the entire state of New Jersey. And it was drawn to his attention about the deadline. He has more than said we can comply with it. Third, he has submitted any information about the conflict and about any conflict that's in accordance with the statute regarding conflicts, particularly the pay-to-play provision. So those are the reasons supporting. So the motion is to amend Resolution C to state the purposes as I identified on the record. May I have a second, please?
I'll second that.
All those in favor say aye.
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 I will abstain. And
So
no.
Okay, we have 3 ayes and 1 no and 1 abstention. Resolution C has passed.
No, that we voted on the amendment. to
Amendment,
the
sorry.
resolution.
So easy to forget it. So I'll make a motion to approve Resolution C as amended. May I have a second, please?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'll abstain.
And no.
So we have 3 ayes, 1 no, and 1 abstention for Resolution C as amended. Next is Resolution E, and I will make a motion to amend Resolution E to substitute Steve Warner for the professional service for the land use and redevelopment attorney consultant for the period of January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2025, in accordance with the contract.
Second.
All those in favor
I
say,
have a comment on that.
Okay.
I think we need to amend the language to state why the council is awarding this contract without a public bid, and again, not to restate the reason that isn't the first whereas clause, that we know we need one, and also not to just restate the accolades of the recipient. It should be a reason why we're making this change or making this award without an open public bid.
for the reasons previously identified and the appointment of Mr. Warner as the affordable housing attorney, those same reasons apply. Additional reasons are that Mr. Warner also serves in a similar capacity to a variety of townships throughout the state of New Jersey. In this capacity, he's more than competent and qualified to do so, and we are exercising our prerogative to change the land use and redevelopment attorney as we can, and all the paperwork that he submitted with respect to the affordable housing also applies here. He's in complete compliance with the pay-for-play provisions and any conflict provisions. So those are the reasons. That's the motion to amend Resolution E.
E.
So I need a second.
I will second that.
All those in favor say aye.
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 I'll abstain.
No.
So we have 3 ayes, 1 no, and 1 abstention for the motion as amended, to amend the motion. Now we have to take up the motion as amended. So I make a motion that we approve Resolution E as amended.
I will second that to approve it.
All those in
So,
favor?
I have a question about the financials on this. It seems to read that this one does have a retainer a monthly fee that this attorney would receive regardless of hours worked. Is that correct?
Well, we are simply, these are what Mr. Keynes had previously, and so Mr. Warner is willing to accept the same provisions and terms as Mr. Keynes, and so therefore, there was no need to change that. So that's why the amounts are what they are. The previous council, when they appointed Mr. Keynes, had agreed to those terms.
Mr. Zepp, I don't put you on a spot, but do you know how often this attorney is used? And
Full disclosure, I wasn't aware that we were changing. I did receive a proposal from Mr. Warner for redevelopment in this capacity. I wasn't aware, or else I would have had the agenda reflect that. I do concur with the mayor said that he is reflecting, I believe, the same fee structure as Mr. Keynes had. So the financials remain the same. I wasn't aware we were changing out, or else I would have had the agenda changed for that.
okay. I don't want to put you on a spot off the top of your head, though. Do you recall in the last year, does this attorney in this capacity provide us services every month to deserve a retainer? Just a generic question, whether or not we're changing or not.
Yes, he was very beneficial to me in where I could basically call out to him on any questions that I had that weren't specific. And he also handled very specialized issues with homeowners associations and some of the odd issues that would come up. And that's really why, because I believe that this position wasn't always there, but there was a need for it in the past few years, and it was created along with his, duties as the board adjuster, attorney.
Okay. And this appointment tonight is not affecting the zoning board's attorney. It's the same, it's removing their current attorney from this role, but they're going to retain their own attorney? That's what it sounds like.
That's up to the zoning board.
Yeah, that's what I was getting, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, we had a motion to accept resolution. It was, E as amended.
Yes. I second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 I will abstain from doing business tonight.
No.
Okay, so we have 3 ayes and 1 no and 1 abstention for resolution E as amended. Okay, I think it was Councilman Chiarello who wanted to move out. It was resolution M as in Mary, is that right? So it is a,
Yeah, I noticed there was a mistake in the original copy. I just wanted to see if it was corrected. It looked like it has been.
Yeah, that's correct. I noticed the same thing, Councilman. It looks like it's been corrected.
And do we currently have a person filling this, or an entity filling this role?
I think that's our incumbent, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, this is our agency. Basically, under the affordable housing, we have rentals for the affordable housing, and we also have sales of affordable housing. They're the administrative agent. They actually track it all for the township, and they also make sure we're compliant with the affordable housing laws as the agent.
Reynolds?
CGP&H?
Okay, thank you.
CGP&H is the name of the firm?
Yeah, they're not a firm, they're an agency. They're an administrative agency, and they basically act as the caretakers of our duties as a town to follow all the affordable housing rules when it comes to rentals and sales and keeping track of the tenants. And they also keep the roster list of applicable attendants who are applying for the housing. They're the ones who administrate it all.
And they underwrite the COA proposed tenant? Is that what you're saying?
No, they don't underwrite.
They don't underwrite it,
That's
no.
what we're dealing with right now with Mr. Warner and our numbers and all. This is separate. They help us follow the legislation as it's written.
Any other discussion with respect to resolution M? So seeing none, and I make a motion that we approve Resolution M as in Mary.
I will second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 I'll abstain.
So we have 4 ayes and 1 abstention for Resolution M as in Mary. Next, excuse me. Next is Resolution O. I would like to make a motion that we table this resolution subject to a discussion among council at a later date with the need for this particular position, and also finding out what this consultant did in the previous year. Typically, they consult with the Business Development Committee, so I don't think there's sufficient information at this time for us to rule on that. So the motion is to table Resolution O to take up at some other time.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 I'm abstaining.
So we have 4 ayes and 1 abstention for tabling O, and so at a later date, we will take up Resolution O, and we will discuss amongst ourselves and with Manager Zepp when that time period arises. Next is Resolution P as in Paul, and I would like to make a motion to amend the term of this contract for the appointment, instead of a 1-year term, for the term to begin January 1st, 2025, and to end on March 31st, or February 28th, 2025. So the motion is to amend Resolution P such that the term is from January 1st, 2025 through February 28th, 2025. May I have a second, please?
Second.
I have a question. Can you
Sure.
explain the rationale? This is our planner who is, I wouldn't say shoulder deep. She's probably way in ground, working probably 24/7 on our January 28th or 31st deadline for affordable housing. And she's been here for, I don't know, 3 to 5 years advising the town and the planning board, and is doing a wonderful, solid job. So I'd like to know the reasons for proposing a shorter term and having to go through this process again in a month.
Sure. The time period would cover Catherine Samard through the affordable housing deadline of January 28th, and then also a month even after that. I think the concern for some members of council is Mr. Samard was previously affiliated with Harbor Consultants, which is a large consulting firm that has a huge back office. They have a lot of people, and now my understanding is she has formed her own LLC. We're not sure what other support staff that she has, but I think it's fair to say it's not on par with what they had at Harbor Consultants. So we would like to see how this goes under her new venture. So that's the purpose of limiting it, and we can always extend it if we're happy. In February 28th, there's nothing that prevents us from extending it. But I think given the change in Ms. Sarmad's affiliation, I think the prudent thing to do is not to have this for a year contract, but to see how it goes for the next 2 months. So that's the reasoning.
My view of the firm is it's not a large firm. I mean, it's all relative, I guess, but they're quite a small firm. Second, these contracts are not guaranteed through the end of the year, these types, right? I mean, they're as needed, 30-day notice. I'm sure it's written in that way. It just seems like a lot to go through without knowing there's a need yet. We could always do this whenever.
Okay, are there any other discussion with respect to the motion to amend Resolution P for the term to be January 1st, 2025 through February 28th, 2025? Okay, see none. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I will abstain.
No.
Okay, we have 3 ayes and 1 Abstention. Now I'll make a motion to approve Resolution P as amended. May I have a second, please?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 I'm abstaining.
So as amended, I'm sorry, Councilman Chiarella.
I'm abstaining.
I mean, Councilman Blumetti, was that an aye or a no?
That was a yes.
Okay, so we have 4 ayes and 1 no for Resolution P as amended. All right, next. I might need the clerk to remind me of the next one we're taking separately. because-
HH is the next one.
HH?
I thought AA.
Yeah, I think it might be AA.
Oh, AA, I
AA.
apologize.
Yes, AA.
Okay. Yes, so I make a motion that we table the designation of the township for endorsement of state applications and forms, or who,
Mr. Mayor, I think that
yeah,
that was the resolution where we wanted for the council's consideration to add language to the effect of that the council shall have shall be afforded the opportunity but not the obligation to provide consent with respect to any decisions made by the township manager.
I'm sorry, that any decision made by the township manager requires the council's consent?
I think this is respect to, I think this is respect to grant applications. And so I don't think it had to do, I think you're referring to one that's later, which is, I believe, II.
No, the language reads grant applications as well as construction and operation permit applications related to capital projects involving water, sewer, drainage, and roadway improvements. This is much more than grants. What's the reason for wanting to change this? Seems like it's creating a lot of extra delays and red tape.
I mean, the council should be focused on policy, not administration.
Well, I think that I think that the concern was to have some degree of notice to the council when the manager is acting as an agent for, when he's acting as endorsement for these grant applications and the construction operation of permit applications relating to capital projects involving water, sewer, drainage, and roadway improvements.
So anytime an application is submitted, the council needs to review and approve it?
No, that it's simply a notice provision that we are aware that it's happening, not that we have any approval authority. It's simply to require a notice of this. Otherwise, we have no idea whether this is happening or not.
I mean, I could think of one example where somebody in the water department needs to put a permit in for some minor project around town, and Mr. Zepp needs to sign that. I don't need to know about that. That's not my role. That's not our role.
We're a policy
This is the
board,
first
not
I'm
an,
hearing of this for what it's worth. I haven't been suggesting otherwise. I give the council weekly manager reports every Friday. I try to highlight all the situations that come upon the town that I think you would find interesting or it would be beneficial for you to know in case a resident should ask you about it. I agree. Running this town is a feat. And trying to, you all are very busy people, and to add that check back in, it'll slow down the process. I have no problem communicating all the activities that I do, and I did that with the Friday reports, and I thought that was very beneficial. I've asked for feedback many times on areas that we could improve the process. I'm fine if you all want to pass this, but I do take pride in what I deliver to you folks, and I'm a little surprised.
Okay. No, I appreciate that explanation. I don't think an amendment is necessary after I think that what was helpful is to get that explanation on the record. about what this is, and so I don't have any need, I think, to amend this at all. I don't know if any of my other fellow council members do. If not, I would make a motion to approve Resolution AA as it's found in the agenda.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 I will abstain.
We have 4 ayes and 1 abstention. Resolution AA is approved. Okay, what was the next carve-out, Madam Clerk?
I don't believe there is another one. HH is the last one.
I think we do have, did we not carve out,
You've done N and
H8.
A. HH yes, that's the last one.
Yeah,
And we have I we already took care of.
yeah, so I think the HH, I think in the past, we had carved this one out such that it is consent form, single, okay, it has
updated.
been. Okay, it already has been changed. Okay, good. All right, so I think that change has been that for anything that's not a single-family residential, there will be a notice provision with respect to that. So I think it's fine as is. There's no need to amend it. And so the motion is to approve Resolution HH as it's found in the agenda. May I have a second, please?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
I will abstain.
We have 4 ayes and 1 abstention for Resolution HH. Madam Clerk, are there any other resolutions that we carved out that need to be considered?
No. Because II was the last one, but we already included that
Okay.
in your original.
Okay, and so with that, I'm just double checking. I make a motion to adjourn. May I have a second?
We'll
I
second.
second.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you for everyone for